This is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. I'm your host, Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk some old school NBA. Now, in today's episode, I want to take a look at NBA legends telling their stories about other players that literally embarrassed them. But before we get to that, I want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, which is Simply Seattle. If you are a fan of the Seattle Supersonics, Simply Seattle is the right place for you. Not only do they have the world's largest selection of Supersonics gear, but they also partner with Sean Kemp and Gary Payton for autographed pieces. So if you always wanted to have a Seattle Supersonics jersey signed by the Rain Man or Gary Payton the glove, Simply Seattle is the right place for you. So check out the link in the description box to get your Seattle Supersonics gear. All right, you guys, that was it. Let's get right into today's episode. Now the first player that we're going to take a look at is Jalen Rose, and he will tell a short story about how Kobe Bryant dropped 81 points on Rose.
If Michael Jordan is the original, Kobe Bryant is the remix, baby.
Gather round, it's story time.
Yeah! Story time with Jalen Rose.
We're playing a 1-2-2 zone in the NBA versus Kobe Bryant, yeah. And we were winning earlier in the game, so it gave us, I guess, some false sense of security. Duh, who's Kobe gonna pass it to? All right, Smush Parker, he's open for a jumper, okay. So before you know it, Kobe's putting up pretty good numbers, but he's not really going off. I think he probably had 20-something in the first half. And then I want to say he erupted for like 40 or something in the third quarter.
How does that happen?
He was dominant over us. You know when you growing up, and then the rim in the backyard is 8 foot tall, and there's one guy that can really probably dunk on the 10-foot hoop, but he's playing on the 8-foot hoop. That's how he was dominant, putting a smack down on us. And we thought about doing some things to him during the game. I remember one time we came to the sideline, and Mike James, myself, and a couple of guys huddled up, and we were talking to Sam Mitchell about, hey, coach, think we might want to double team that guy? Maybe make someone else beat us? That may help.
And it never happened.
He was playing one-on-one between the legs, behind the back for three to the basket. I just remember realizing at one point in the game, this may be something historic happening right now.
Were you checking him?
Oh, I did guard him. I got a healthy 19. But I was so frustrated, I'm like, Coach, we got to make this guy at least work on D. Right now he's guarding me. I'm about to take him to the post. Sam Mitchell got so mad at me for doing that. He didn't want me to do it again. B took me out.
Why didn't you guys double team him?
That's a great question.
Now the next clip that we're going to take a look at is from NBA Open Court, and it involves Shaquille O'Neal and Big Country Brian Reeves.
Sometimes it just doesn't work that way, does it, Shaq? If you had to narrow it down to just one.
Big Country.
Big Country, why?
Because you know, guards that don't play defense, they always tell bigs to show. So I would show, and Big Country be 15 feet away, and I would have to rotate back. And he had the ugliest Duckworth one-hand jumper. He shoot it, and it always go in. And so halftime, I'm looking at the stats. Shaq 15, Big Country 26. I'm like, man, it's killing me.
That's how I got that big contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would say I had trouble with a lot of guys, but I would say that I always took pride that I used to say, in Charles, we use this saying a lot, I used to like playing against little guards because I say it's like shooting over a chair. I used to say, I'm going to get all my jumpers off today. And he was a good player, but Dana Barros, he just got rolling for some reason when he saw my face. And so, rolling. So he had his career high. He had 50 points against us. Houston. We were up like 17, 18.
Us or me?
No, on me. No, wait. But no.
Just 48 on
No, wait. The best part about it. No, the best part about it is when Sam Cassell came to the team. He didn't know I had trouble with David Bowers. So, first 2 or 3 plays, he get it rolling. Boom, boom. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get these 2 fouls. Right. It's not coming in. So then, Sam, so soon, oh, foul shaving. We up. I'm like, I'm not getting the business.
Now, I could never do a list without mentioning Larry Legend, Larry Bird, and Michael Air Jordan. So let's have a look at their clips.
And this week, we relive a game when Larry was in rare form and Xavier McDaniel was eager to lend an ear.
Tie game, 13 seconds to play. Celtics basketball, no shot clock.
They called a timeout. He said, you know I'm going to get it. And I said, I know, I'm going to be waiting. Well, after the timeout, we walked back on the court. And Larry was going down to his position. So he tells Xavier, he says, I'm getting the ball. Yeah, he said, I'm going to get it right here. I'm going to shoot it right in your face.
10 seconds. 5 and Bird has the basketball. Look out. 2 seconds on the clock.
And, you know, he was like, I didn't mean to leave 2 seconds on the clock. I walked back to the sideline like, damn.
Larry Bird just phenomenal the way that he will contribute in the clutch time after
Go back to last week. You were going to tell me about trash talking with Jordan and said to remind you to bring that back up. It was a preseason game. Chuck Person said you need to go out there and give Jordan grief right away. Establish yourself. Is that what happened?
Well, remember now, let's set this up. Preseason, as we said, for veterans, it's more for veteran players. It's more for getting in shape and trying to get your routes and your timing done. You really don't play a lot of minutes. It was my rookie year, so most rookies play anywhere from 30 minutes to almost 40 minutes most of the game because they don't know any better. So we're playing in some exhibition game somewhere in Idaho or North Dakota where you play most of these obscure preseason games at, and we're playing Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bulls. Now, of course, he's still Michael Jordan because Michael's 3 years older than I am, but he wasn't Michael Jordan with the music behind him like he is now. And you like that. And I'm having a good first quarter because obviously we're guarding one another, and he's going through the motions because veterans really aren't going hard. And Chuck Person is egging me on saying, tell him to take that. Yeah, tell him he can't check you. Tell him he's all that. And I'm looking at Chuck like, I really don't want to talk noise to Michael Jordan, but hey, maybe I'm trying to establish myself a little bit. So I go ahead and he eggs me on and I say a few things to him. Next thing I know, Michael looks over to Doug Collins, who was the head coach at the time, now my compadre at TNT, and says, leave me in. That's all he said. Leave me in. Well, next thing I know, we were up by 16 points going into the third quarter. I had like 12. Michael had 2. By the end of the game, I had 12 and he had 35.
Unfortunately. I got to go with Marty Conlon.
Oh, Marty Conlon.
His jump shot was so ugly that I made up the rule. And I'm talking stuff in practice. If anybody go for his pump fake, it's a $100 fine. I went for every pump fake. I mean, he gave me about 25, and I just remember just being there like, I know his game. He can't get by me, and he just, every time, he gave me the business many times, Marty. He was the man. I can't
know who else, Ernie, for him? Samaki Walker used to kill him.
Oh, so you're filling in names of guys who used to...
Samaki Walker
used to... Hey, Chuck, get us Dr. Phil, dog. I need help. I do need help.
AI was mine.
All right.
I loved it. It's not that I didn't want to face him, but knowing that it's going to be an uphill battle. You know, I always had a tough time with little, really fast guys. And as you can see right there, he got by me pretty easy.
Bubba Chuck!
But he was just fearless.
Oh,
you know, he was fearless. I mean, he never let up. I mean, he was a warrior. You couldn't bully him. I could bully a lot of guys. You couldn't bully him. I mean, AI was my guy for sure.
I'm going to say for me, this happened in my first few years in the league. I'm going to say Vince Carter. You know, every week I see highlights of him dunking on guys, and I was just like, man, I do not want to be on these highlights. I mean, look, this was like 3 or 4 times a week. And so, you know, when Vince came in, and this is when you had great perimeter. This was before LeBron came into the league, before Melo, these guys who are also great one-on-one. But it was Vince Carter for me in the Eastern Conference because it was just like, he'll put you on that ISO wing, and next thing you know, one dribble, he's up in the air, and I never want to be on that highlight tape.
All right, you guys, that was it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the content. If so, please leave a like and also subscribe to the channel. And just a little heads up, my next episode is going to be about Damon Stoudemire, a.k.a. Mighty Mouse.